So, I am Dr. Doug, and this is Dr. Doug's Facts. Frequently asked questions, and sometimes not so frequently asked questions. You tweet me at Doug620, you email me, Doug at KTAR, and I answer your questions. Let's start with the emails. Got one from Nick. Nick says, Matt Williams, please God, let him get it. Worst third base coach of all time. Nick, I'm sure you're a nice man. I bet you're even good at your job, but you're bad at sports opinions. Yes, Matt Williams failed miserably in Game 1 of the playoffs against the Milwaukee Brewers, but he gets blamed for that way too much. He's an excellent third base coach, and he would make a fine manager for the Washington Nationals if those rumors are true that the Nats are interested in him next year. Our next email comes to us from Mike. It is good hearing you guys in the morning again. The mornings weren't the same without the team. I really like you and Wolf in the morning. Stay strong, Mike. Thanks. Now we go to Rob. Rob says, hello, gentlemen. He was obviously referring to Wolf. Why don't players start patenting their names so the NCAA can't make money off of them without paying them? Well, Rob, number one, no one can invent themselves, so they should not patent their names. However, trademarking would be a brilliant idea, and I agree with you. That's it for the emails. Let's go to Twitter. Some of the tweets that we got, Brandon says, did I hear at Doug620 say something negative about Parra? Blasphemy. First of all, no one really uses the word blasphemy. Number two, yes, you did. Gerardo Parra is the single worst base runner in the history of Major League Baseball. Does a lot of good things. Decisions on the base paths, not one of them. Another tweet we get from Jacob, back to Johnny football, but not this time patenting himself. I don't think NCAA has the proof on Johnny football. Otherwise, they would have acted already. Not necessarily true. The reason why is, here's how suspensions work. Texas A&M makes the suspension. Nobody else does. That's up to Texas A&M. The NCAA will come back and make reference to whether or not a player should have been suspended and declared ineligible. Remember Reggie Bush? That was USC not making the suspension, and now they had to deal with the consequences. We keep going off of Johnny football, and we move in to a tweet that we have from Greg. Greg says, what was that Rocky Mountain metaphor at Wolf620 used? Greg, when you have a question for Wolf, tweet Wolf. I can't get in that man's head. Our next tweet comes to us from Bruce. I would completely disagree with Towers on Bonds. He was a cheater and would cease to be a D-backs fan if he were on the team. That's in reference to Wednesday's show when Kevin Towers came on and said he'd love to have Barry Bonds. I'm hoping, however, he meant the Barry Bonds in his Pittsburgh days before his head and feet grew, because not very many 40-year-old men have their head and feet grew, or grow, depending on your grammar teacher. And our last one in the tweet department comes to us from Brandon, and Brandon says, what was the comment? Well, he's really stating a basic fact of another tweet that I had already sent out that wanted to defend David Carter. David Carter is a defensive lineman for the Cardinals today, and he called the head coach an a-hole. Now, that was a little odd, I have to admit, but don't worry. He meant it endearingly, and he was having fun with Ron Wolfley because of the way Bruce Arians brings a freshness and a little bit of an in-your-face style to the players. So he said it completely as a joke, and the national media, I know, is going to take it out of context and run with it in a bad way. You will know the truth because you watched Dr. Doug's Facts.